Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to Series 3 of Neo Scavenger. I've decided to come back to Neo Scavenger as I really enjoyed the first two playthroughs. It's quite a difficult survival game and a lot of you guys enjoyed it as well. This time we're actually using the Neo Scavenger extended mod, which I got off the Blue Bottle forums, which I'll link in the description below. We're just going to head into it, see what happens. I'm not too sure what the mod actually adds to the game, but we're going to try and survive, maybe do some of the story parts and just see what's new. The mods are actually a bit of a pain to install really, but you know, that's just the way it is, and that's just me being kind of special. So we've got tailoring. I'm not too sure if that's new. Yeah, smoker as well. So there's actually a mobile version of this game coming out pretty soon. That's actually in the works, so that'll be quite interesting. And if you haven't actually seen this game before, basically these are the traits you get to pick. So we've got negative and positive traits, and they're the amount of skill points that we can actually use. So what we're going to use is the first one is botany, because that allows us to actually identify herbs, fungi, plants, berries, etc. We're also going to use melee as well, and I think we're going to use myopia as our negative trait. I've forgotten what traits we normally use. So we can see one less hex than normal. This is actually almost like a turn-based roguelike kind of game, if you're not familiar with it. Really enjoyable though if you do actually get into it, and really fucking addictive as well. Okay, so we're going to go for lockpicking also, and we've got 5 points left. So we're going to use metabolism as our negative traits. We've got 7 there. Okay, what else are we going to go for here? Probably, really don't know. Go for trapping and let's go for electrician. No, we can't. Really don't know what to use. Ranged, no, we can't use. Athletic, right, we'll go for athletic as well. So our positive are botany, melee, lockpicking, trapping, athletic, and our chosen flaws are myopia and metabolism. That could be a really bad combination. But you wake up disorientated, slumped over the base of an empty cryo sleep pod, still damp from cryo fluid. The thick dust from the floor clings to your skin, leaving a clean spot on the ground where a large 05 is painted. So basically this is the room on the left that we have woken up in, and these are the choices that we got. Jump out the window, and then stuff that our various skill set can allow us to do. So just as you gather your wits, an unearthly scream erupts from down the hall beyond the doorway. Something is coming fast. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to fight it, because there's some information that I do need to get in this room that I know from previously playing the game. You instinctively drop to a defensive stance as it bursts into the room. The beast stands on its hind legs like a man, but with the appearance of a ragged predatory dog. Looks pretty grim. It looks right at you and shrieks with a loud sound that freezes your blood. Despite your fear, you put up a pretty good fight. You move like you've done this before and avoid most of his lunges. You even manage to deliver a blow that sends the beast reeling in a haze. Taking advantage of his distraction, you knock him to the ground and deliver a fatal blow with your knee. Though wounded, at least you're still alive. Okay, so what we've actually just killed is the dogman. And there's certain things we can actually do with the crafting system. Apologies if you have seen this before, but to anyone new, I am just going to explain what we can do. Okay, so what we're going to do is grab some of the glass shards. Oh, it's not a drag and drop, it's a click and drop. Forgot about that. And we'll grab another glass shard in there. So we've actually got a wrist strap on, a hospital wrist strap called Philip Kindred. That's actually us, as far as I know. And with the rush of adrenaline fading, you turn your attention back to the strange room. You should probably finish up here in case there are more of those things. Okay, so what we're going to do is search the console for records. Okay, and this is us, Philip Kindred, no data, and it's got our billing account of Detroit Savings Bank. Okay, and what we're going to do is just climb out of the window. Okay, right, so hex to be scavenged, blah blah blah, that's fine. So what we're going to do is go to our screen, our item screen, and we're going to go to the crafting, and what we're going to do is drag the dogman corpse along with our trapping skill and a glass shard as well, and that's actually going to make us a dogman pelt. Okay, so we're going to confirm that, and let's just go to our thing, and we can actually wear the pelt. I'm not too sure on this one, as with the Mighty Mod of Doom, if this does actually give you fleas after a while. I'm really not sure. Right, we'll keep the 5 shards in our hand. So we've got a chunk of meat, our hospital gown, our strap, and a dogmon pelt. That's going to keep us pretty warm, as the outdoor temperature is pretty cold. So let's just head into this area. As you approach the town, there is no sign of activity. Buildings stand in ruin, vehicles are overturned and blackened with fire. Explosion marks radiate outwards from walls and pavement. In the distance, strange-looking creatures circle in the sky like monstrous leathery vultures. The world has drastically changed from what you knew. Some sort of cataclysm has befallen Earth, returning mankind to the Dark Ages. And along with it, your hopes of finding a warm meal and some answers. You decide to look around and scavenge what you can from the ruins. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually scavenge this area. Oops, sorry. I don't know what that was. So we're going to go into the storage shed. And storage sheds are mixed bags. Ostensibly there should be some goods inside, but then again, if anyone here before you would have known that I cleaned it out, still it's worth a shot. Okay, so we just managed to get some really good stuff there. We've got some bullets. I think this could be to do with the extended mod. So we're just going to check the condition of these jeans, and we'll go for this pair. So that's going to keep us a lot warmer. We've got a crowbar with a strap. So that is going to help us basically, in fact we're going to take both of them. I'm not too sure why I can't put this on my shoulder. Bear with me. Wow. There we go. Right, so we've got 2 crowbars with a strap, both in, well, one's in decent condition. Got a baseball bat there, an emergency flare, and some bullets, which you could probably do with taking. So let's just grab all these and put them into our jeans pocket. These are worth a lot of money. We will actually reach a trader later on in one of the settlements, so we can actually do that, which will be decent. Okay, we're going to take this off and put a top on also. And a shitty brown t-shirt there. We've got some handyman duct tape. Again, that's worth quite a bit, but unfortunately we haven't got anything to carry with. So that one's locked. So what we're going to do is actually use our crowbar. We're going to use the one with less condition. And we're going to keep an eye out for traps as well. Okay, we didn't find anything useful in there, which is a shame. So let's just keep scavenging again. Okay, so let's just take a look. Nothing in there either. I think we've just really lucked out. Anyone who's familiar with the game, it is a lot of RNG in the game, but sometimes you can just end up with just incredibly good shit. And we've ended up with 2 crowbars there. The kind of most important thing we need to get is a pan, so we can purify water. Okay, we've now got some shoes as well. Makeshift rag shoe, we'll put that on. You do actually get blisters and loads of other stuff. So we've got a beer bottle, and we've also got a disposable carrier bag. In fact, we're going to use this one, and we'll actually pop carrier bag in there. You can actually put the carrier bag around your back, which is pretty cool. And we're going to take that brown t-shirt and do something with that in a sec. Another carrier bag. So we're going to take this water bottle. Okay, some pebbles, and we'll take some string as well, and a caravan cigarette. Okay, just rotate that around slightly. Anything else? Plastic sled, don't need any of this really. Probably could take the duct tape. Let's just organise that slightly better, so we can actually take the duct tape and hopefully sell that on as well. But really good to start with. We just need to head over to our crafting screen again, and what I want to do is actually tear up the brown t-shirt using the shards, just to make us some dirty rags for the moment. And what we're going to do with them is pop them in, and we can purify them, boil them up, and treat our injuries, which are on this screen. So we've got minor cut and some minor bruising at the moment, which isn't too bad. We are wearing improper footwear, unfortunately, and that's this makeshift rag shoe, so we can actually take that off, and it says we're barefoot. So I prefer to have at least some coverage over my foot than just being kind of shitty and barefoot. Okay, so we're just going to keep plodding on, just end our turn there. Did make quite a bit of noise there. What we can do as well is you can actually scavenge on some of the hexes to find fruit and stuff like that. These hills use 2 turns, so as you can see up there we've got moves left, but you get a view of the surrounding area. So let's take a look and see. I keep clicking the wrong button, sorry guys. There we go. So we've got a squirrel. We could actually skin that at the moment, but I've got no means of cooking or anything like that, so let's just keep going, heading along, and we're going to head into the forestry and just see what's what. Okay, let's do a bit of a scavenging here. Let's have a look in these treetops. Okay, we didn't find, but we did actually fall down the tree, which is unfortunate. Stretch of forest, and we can use our botany skill there. Okay, so we found some standard water. Again, that needs purifying. What we're going to do is empty out this beer. That will dehydrate us if we drink it, so we're not going to bother with that. And we're going to eat all these berries up. Okay, so with the botany skill, that tells you if stuff is edible or inedible. Okay, luckily all these are actually edible. You can get poison berries, which end you pretty fucking quickly, unfortunately. So we've got 2 water in there and 2 water in there. That's good. And we can actually use the trees to gather resources as well, which we're not going to bother with. But we're looking pretty good, kind of pretty full, pretty hydrated, pretty well rested, not burdened, and we're in a bit of pain. That's our only general conflict at the moment. Okay, so we're going to keep heading on and head over to these trees, and again do some scavenging. Not going to bother with the treetops at the moment. We should be able to find some stuff over here. Okay, some edible mushrooms, we'll eat them, just get some roughage. You can actually build a spear pretty quickly. Unfortunately, with me finding this crowbar, or the 2 crowbars in quick succession, hasn't allowed me to do a lot of crafting. I probably will do some, providing we survive. The game is extremely difficult if you're not familiar with it. Some more edible berries there, and some stones. They're good with the range trait, because you can actually build a kind of catapult thing, a slingshot. Okay, you happen across a dense, tangled thicket of forest where even sunlight treads wearily. The vegetation is darker, heavier, almost reptilian in form and nature. You hear no rustling of leaves, no birds, no scrapings of small rodents through the undergrowth. The wood is soundless, mute, expectant. Like a predator about to pounce, it appears silently poised, anticipating the movement of its prey. Let's examine the foliage. You recognise none of the plants, but notice quite a few equipped with oversized barbed leaves. Careful not to brush up against anything. You wonder if they're poisonous. You resolve to eat or drink nothing until you have left the glade. Right, what we're going to do is actually leave this for now, because it's just a bad idea to go in there straight away. I think I've actually been in there before, but I can't actually remember what you actually find or if it's worth it. And you know, at the beginning of the series, don't really want to start that off by getting fucked up by some leaves. So we've got some more edible berries. Right, what condition's that in? Okay, right, I think what we're going to do is let's use this. Oh, get a large branch from a tree, gather rocks. So we're going to use this just to get some smaller stuff. And we're going to actually craft a fire once we end our turn. It is raining at the moment as well, and that will warm us up, but unfortunately it does attract wildlife and other scavengers to us as well, so kind of bittersweet there. So let's go to our crafting screen, and I need to try and remember how to do this. Right, that. I think trapping. Okay, there we go. So we have a small friction fire there. And there we go. So we've now just built fire, which is good shit. So it's going to keep us warm, as you can see. In fact, that hasn't actually made any difference to our temperature, which is a bit of a shame. And we should be able to cook this meat up with the stick. There we go. So just by combining fire, a stick, and the chunk of meat, we've now got that, which is really good. So that's going to keep us decent for a while. Unfortunately, the meat does perish kind of quickly. As you can see, where is it? what conditions that in at the moment? 55, so we might as well use that now before it gets a bit ropey. And we're going to take these edible mushrooms in our hand as well. Okay, so let's just plod on. I'll probably do a few more hexes before we end the episode, because the intro episodes were always a lot of me talking absolute shit and trying to explain what I'm doing. Ooh. Okay, let's just end the turn again. Okay, so we're just going to head up. I think Zomzoms is actually up here somewhere, which is pretty good when we get to there. We can get some decent gear from there as well. Not that we actually need it, but it's always best to just chance. We could really do with a backpack. In fact, it's probably worth checking our condition. 56%, 99. Yeah, we're pretty good. So we've got a marsh. We can also gather water from there and purify that up. But we do need to get a pan pretty quickly. There's nothing up there, unfortunately. I think going through forestry actually uses 2 turns as well. Yeah, we're now down to 3 moves. I'm going to get blistered feet pretty soon as well, which is unfortunate. Okay, let's just go up here and see what's what. Seems to be absolutely nothing. Okay, as night falls, you notice there is a bright glow coming from the east, easily visible through the treetops. Treetops? It's no guarantee, but it could be a sign of civilization, maybe even a lead on where you are or who, and if nothing else, it's a good landmark to strike towards as any. Okay, so if we just take a look on the minimap, which is there, okay, and we'll just head across. That's where we're heading to, which is the glow. So, yeah, that's where we're heading to. Shit, where are we? Okay, let's go back to where we are. Fucking hell. Right, okay, so it's night time, so we need to get some rest. So luckily I've just come across this place. So what we're going to do is just scavenge quickly around here and just get a bit of food before night time. Probably going to have a bit of an uncomfortable sleep, but you know, that's okay. And what do we got there? Edible berries, edible thingy. You know what I mean? Not edible berries, edible mushrooms. Okay, right, so let's just try and get some rest. I'm not going to light a fire. Unfortunately, I haven't got any noise traps or anything like that either. But it is pretty cold, so let's just rest and heal. And it's now daytime again. So I think I'm going to call it an episode here, guys. We've done really, really well, especially if you are familiar with the game. You will know that we've managed to get a decent coat, some alright clothing. Unfortunately, we've got one shitty shoe. We've probably got about $300 worth of shit to sell as well when we do reach the glow. The only negatives, we've got blisters on our foot, and we took a considerable amount of damage from fighting the dogman and also falling down a tree. So in the next episode we're going to be looking to head to Zomzoms and hopefully pick up a pan to boil our water. And let's just head over here first, so we can also explore this city as well, which will be decent, and hopefully get some better stuff. But as always, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.